Hi, this is JoJo with the Hookup Baits podcast, and we have a very special guest today. We have Eric Lehman, and he is the creator of Spotty Bowl, and we're going to get to know him today.
Yes.
Thank you, Eric, for coming and being with us today. So why don't we start by telling the listeners a little bit about where you grew up?
I grew up in Ramona, California. I was born there in 1969. When my dad retired in 83, we moved to Arkansas. Was there for 5 years. Once I graduated, came back to Ramona. So Ramona is my home.
Very nice, very nice. And is your business in Ramona as well?
Yes, it is.
And what exactly is that business?
It's Ramona Automotive. It's just an automotive shop right there on the main street, right by Denny's, where everybody knows where Denny's is. So,
And how long have you been in business?
I am the owner a little bit over a year. I have worked for the same company since 2010.
Okay, and would that be someone, just to kind of tell our listeners, is that to get your car serviced, or do you specialize in a certain area?
We pretty much do everything. Smog is like our main thing, diagnosis, but we do motors, we do engines, no tire alignment type stuff, but everything else that we do. No diesels.
Great, great. And at what age did you start fishing?
As a young kid, we lived down the road called Musty Gray. A couple miles up the road from there was a pond called Dos Picos Pond. Riding my bicycle about 2 miles up there pretty much every weekend. Come home with two stringers full of crappie. And
Nice.
so that was for a long time. Then when we moved to Arkansas, we had two personal ponds on our property, so we got to fish those quite a bit. I'd hop across the neighbor's fence, fish their ponds. And we had rivers and lakes pretty much all around us, so quite a bit of fishing.
Wow. And was there someone of a role model or someone that got you into fishing when you were younger?
I think it was just where I grew up was just a bunch of kids, and we just kind of did it together up at the pond. Then, obviously, when I got back to Arkansas, my dad retired. He worked 7 days a week, so there wasn't much of that childhood father thing because he worked so much. But I was probably 12 when we moved to Arkansas, and having the two ponds there and the lakes and the rivers, then we did quite a bit more then. So
Very cool.
Sounds like similar where you grew up, sweetheart,
Yeah,
and the
it's
boys
more
all.
of the neighborhood boys that got into. My dad fished, but it was mostly the fishing with the boys in the neighborhood.
yeah.
It was more what got me into it. So,
Riding your bikes to the
yeah.
lakes
Any
and
water we can find.
Yeah, my mom was a big part too, because especially at the pond and the lakes, rivers, she'd be right there with us. And she was more of the one, obviously because my dad worked so much, it was like baseball was real big for me. She was the one taking us everywhere. She'd do everything for us. So more of a big shout out to her.
That's
Yeah,
great.
very
That's
cool.
great. And today, with your business and so forth, do you still find time to fish?
Not like I used to. It's just, like I said, I've
Gotta
only been
fix
the owner.
that.
I've only been the owner for, like I said, a little over a year. But work is so much more stressful now, and I'm a lot more hours there. I still get, a week or 2 weeks a month to go fishing, but it just, before it was every weekend, and now it's just with things going on, and it's maybe a couple times a
So
month.
how does it feel to be the owner and have your own business and be an entrepreneur? How does that
That's
feel?
pretty cool. So you were working for the place, and then you became
Yeah.
owner.
That's
Yeah.
wonderful.
That is a true blessing. It's too long of a story to go into it, but just how it all came about is just all God's doing.
Uh-huh.
I love it. My daughter works for me. She's 26 years old. So that part of now her and I able to spend time together is the best thing. I feel like I am a good boss where I try to treat my guys right and make things good for them, that they can have a good living. And so I truly enjoy it. I think that I'm able to help other people, and just I have a very giving heart, and I just think it turns out very good.
Very nice. That's
Well, and
awesome.
also you've seen the business grow before you became the owner. And so you've seen things what works and I'm sure what doesn't work. And now you're able to apply that as the owner.
Yes.
So, and working with your daughter has to be a great positive.
Yes, it is it's by far the best thing.
So let's kind of get to Spotty Bowl. You created it, and how did you come up with this idea? And what is it? So kind of tell the listeners what it is as well.
Spotty Bowl is just a tournament where we go after 5 spotted bay bass. We go for the length. Then there's a bunch of side pots, but that's something else. So we go out there once a month on the weekend, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. You can choose which day you want to fish just to make it easier for the working people. You have like in the morning session, the evening session. And So like I said, we go out there to fish for 7 hours. You just take your 5 longest spotties, you take a picture, we submit it, we don't keep anything. That way we're trying to protect the fish. And Spotty Bowl came about because of COVID, actually. It's like, I was bowled a lot. I really enjoyed bowling, and at the same time, fantasy football. So bowling got stopped everywhere because of COVID, so I couldn't do that anymore. Fantasy football, I enjoy, but football politics just got to me, and it was like, time to quit those things. So I went up to Roman from Mad Max Fishing Club. I'm a part of his club. I asked him if I can start this fishing league that I had in my mind. And he brought it up to the people in the club. They gave me the go-ahead, and here it is. It's our 3rd season.
Wow. Wow.
That's really cool.
And what can it's how long? How long is the tournament?
It's a 7-month tournament. We fish for 6 months. Then the 7th month is playoffs.
Okay. And this year, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you had San Diego, but now you also have LA. So
Yes.
talk a little bit about that.
The people in LA have been asking us to expand to LA. So we've just through whatever small advertising that we can do, from the Mad Max Fishing Show, through people like you spreading the word, from Instagram. We're trying to get the LA League to grow.
Yeah.
It's starting to grow, but it's still, we'd like to see a lot more people join.
Yeah. Well, the first year up there, I think for what it is, Orange County and LA, for the first year up there, I think it's doing pretty good. I mean,
Yeah,
I think there's still going to be more joining. So,
Yeah, I think there will be too, but I only have it to compare to what we did in San Diego. In the San Diego, the first year we had 44.
Okay.
Right now we are at like 15 in LA.
Okay.
So, and I just
Total?
picked
All leagues? So, okay. Yeah.
So we're only offering 3 leagues in LA this year: the Shore, which nobody has joined, the Weekend Warriors, which there is 9, and Masters there is 5 right now.
Okay.
I have a lot of interest. People say I am going to join.
Yeah,
but
I
it
keep
just-
hearing other people saying they're going to join, but I guess they're just not getting to it.
Yeah, a lot of people said they got to wait till their checks and et cetera. We understand all that.
Yeah. And it's still a week or two.
It's 2 weeks away.
2 weeks
still.
away, yeah. So
Yeah.
I would see more people joining next week and the
Yeah,
week after.
probably like how it happened down here too. Is like towards the end, the last 2-3 days, a lot of people joined.
Yeah.
We went from like 50 something
That's
here.
kind of normal. People wait to the last minute
Yeah.
on everything.
Yeah,
So,
because we went from like 56 here, like into the last week, and we're at 81 right now in San Diego this year.
Wow. Wow.
so what is the numbers from the first year, second year, and third year? What is the numbers of anglers fishing this
The
series?
first year was 44, second year was 84, and as of right now, we're at 81 this year.
Nice.
Very nice. And
Nice.
yes, this weekend was the first series of this year, so 2023. So, yeah, that's. I mean, I first heard about it. I was on my kayak fishing the Coronado Bridge, and it was the first year that you guys started it. I think it was somewhere midway through the series, and I don't know if it was you or who it was, but it was an older guy, in a boat, and seen us on kayaks, and they're like, "Oh, you guys fishing spotty bowls?" I'm like, "No, I'm just fishing." Yeah. "Oh, you guys need to fish spotty bowl, and it's it's going on this weekend, and you can do 3 days." And I'm like, "Oh, that sounds pretty cool." And they're like, "Oh, you guys need to fish it." And I'm like, "Yeah, I do need to fish it." So that's when I looked it up, and I think it was midway through the season. So I was like, "All right, I'll just wait for next season." And then last year I fished it from start to finish, and I didn't play the side, but I just wanted to just do the series. I was like, first season, I'm just going to do the series. I'm not going to worry about side pots or anything else. And it was I loved how organized and how you guys have your own web server or whatever, the Discord, how everything is entered there. And the judge, he's the one that judges all the stuff, and came back, do you have another picture of this fish? The mouth is open a little bit and this and that. I'm like, wow, this is really fair, and knowing that everybody gets the same questions and same, so it seemed very fair, no cheating, and just everything was well organized, very fair. And then we did the championships, and I love that bracket style. That, puts a whole other level where you fish the series, then the top, how many people fish the playoffs?
Last year it was 6. This year it'll be 8.
6, yes. So the top, in each division, the top 8, or last year 6, and it's a bracket style. And there's nothing in the fishing world that does bracket style.
Talk about what is that?
Well, you go ahead and explain it.
Yeah, like again, coming back from the fantasy football bowling thing, is So the bracket style, like last year, it was 6 playoff teams. So the first and second place had a bye. They didn't have to fish the first week. The other 4 guys had to go ahead, one-on-one head competition. So Angler X versus Angler Y, whoever had the longest length got to go to the next round. Then the other guys disqualified.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then I fished for the first and second last year in the Masters, and that was nerve-wracking as could be. Knowing when you're just against one other guy and he's the top and you're the top, and yeah, last year I ended up losing by just a quarter inch. Just like but that was cool. I look forward to doing that again this year. So, just that concept is really cool. But then the price of it. How many tournaments do we have in a series?
We have 7.
7.
Yeah,
and then playoffs.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so if you do well, that's 10 tournaments if you do well, right?
Right.
And for your $50, $60, or $100 pay-in, no matter what division.
Yeah, it's like 60, 80, or 100, depending on what division you want to be in.
That's like super affordable.
Well, the awards were amazing.
Yeah.
Those belts and the
belts
plaques. First class.
Well,
first class.
I kicked myself in the butt last year as we're at the award ceremony and people are getting all these prizes for the side pots. And I'm like, I could have won that one. I could have won that one. So I'm like, all right, I'm all in to side pots and series, everything this year. So, and you don't have to pay any extra money for the side pots.
Yeah, that's one thing that we say with the side pots too. You can join later on. You'll probably be out of the contention for the playoffs, but for you get like $60, you have a chance at all those side pots. There's like $100 for the longest fish, heaviest fish, and there's. I think Ramona Automotive has donated $550 for all these side pots, plus your guys's.
Then they're the sponsors side pots also on top of that. So, it's a great opportunity, and it's and like the side pots made me fish again the next day. I had a calico and a big sand bass, and I'm like, okay, I want to up my trifecta side pot, so it made me fish the day after the tournament because the side pots go for each day of the tournament, all 3 days, and so it gave me another reason to go fish some more.
Yeah, one of the good things about it, a lot of the anglers that we've had in the past are pretty new at fishing. And just because of them having to get out there to fish, because of the Fishy Hours show, they have learned a lot, and they come back and just say, this is making me a better angler. Yeah. And that's actually that's a real blessing.
I've been preaching that since I started tournament fishing 7 years ago, just through the first couple seasons of me tournament fishing. I've been fishing all my life, pretty hardcore fisherman all my life. I never learned as much as in the first 2 years of tournament fishing. It just puts a whole other level of learning and just, competing against other really good fishermen. And, okay, they're winning. What are they doing? And trying to figure out what they're doing. They're not going to tell you, but they'll give you little hints, kind of things. And it just makes you try harder and try different things and try different areas. And, when you put competition on a competitive person like myself, I'm going to do everything I can do to up my game, So, know me, it made all the difference in the world. And just the regular fisherman, it's a crash course on becoming a better fisherman. Tournament fish, It's
and the friendships that you've developed as
well.
Then,
are you guys doing the team thing again this year?
No, I had to do all that myself, and it's just too much work. Not everybody would submit their fish. Then I'd have to go look up their thing, so it was just getting too much.
Okay. So, because last year they drew 2 people and teamed them together, and now I'm pretty good friends with Peter, the guy I was just that random guy that just got on my team last year and we teamed us up, and we ended up getting second place. But he's a big hookup bait user fan now too. So it's just a way of putting more community people together. But the tournament in general just does that anyway, So
a shout out to Peter, one thing, just because he is the current champion of the WTF belt using a hookup bait on a little Barbie pole or kids casting pole. So
that's awesome.
And tell people about these belts. They were amazing. I was like, Chad, you need one of those. So tell us, because
those belts were donated from TV Metal Arts, one of the members of our fishing club. I doubt we're going to get the belts again this year. Every year he does something a little different, and he says the belts were pretty complicated. So, but the belts were And we have them in the WTF League too, where it's like a wrestling championship belt.
Uh-huh.
So it has like the picture of the spotty. It tells you what division you might have been
Yeah.
in,
Oh,
what
so
year it
cool.
was in. They're black and gold. I mean, they were sharp. They
Yeah.
Yeah.
were- yeah.
Also, I'm not going to win one of those this year.
Not unless you join WTF.
That's
W-
more tournaments you're going to make me fish.
Yeah. WTF is more for fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't do that stuff. I just concentrated on the Spotty Bowl, and then, I got the SBS and everything else going on. It's like the last thing I need is the
You're a little busy,
more
sweetheart.
tournament stuff to do.
So just so I understand, even though it just started this weekend, as an angler, you can join at any time. Is that correct?
You can join anytime.
Okay. And that just may make a difference at the end of where your points are if you weren't
That's
able to.
correct.
But if you wanted to go through the whole series, if I understand, you can miss one weekend or
Well,
one.
That's right. We take you fish 7 times. You have a chance to fish 7 times. So we take your best 6 scores. We drop your worst score. Then that's how we go from there. So there's a couple of people this weekend. One guy's wife's sick, so he can't fish this weekend. We have another guy, his coworker got hurt, so he can't fish this weekend. So they have to fish the next 6 times to really have a chance at the playoffs.
Last year, got a funny story. The one I missed last year was a scheduling mess up. JoJo's pretty much my secretary, my manager. And I gave her the schedule, and she put it on the wrong weekend. And we were at a banquet for San Diego anglers, and it was Kevin came up to me. He goes, "Oh, did you fish today?" And I'm like, "No, I worked today." It was on I think it was Friday night was the banquet, and no, Saturday night. I can't remember, but it was some reason I couldn't even fish that weekend.
Saturday.
Yeah, it was Saturday night. Yeah, it was Saturday night. So he was like, "Did you fish the tournament this week?" And I'm like, "What tournament?" He's all Spotty Bowl. "Oh, that's next weekend." You go, "No, it's right now." And we had something going on Sunday where we're going out of town or something. So I'm like, "Well, shoot, there's no way I can fish it. I guess this is my bye." So that was one tournament I didn't even fish last year.
And so,
it-
Eric,
it
just
worked
to let
out.
you know, we've checked the calendar 3 times so that I do not mess this up again. How important it is to Chad. He's like, "We're doing it again. Are you making sure it's because I want to make
Actually,
sure."
I'd have to miss one this year because we'll be at a PCS show
Yeah.
or Fred Hall, one of the two.
Pacific Coast Show. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's my buy this year. So that means it's good. It gives you one throwaway, So
Yeah, and it has hurt people because one of your ambassadors, I guess, Tanner.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
because they always leave the country to go do whatever
yeah,
the
he's
parents
always
do.
in Bahamas and
Yeah,
stuff.
so
Yeah,
he was in the playoffs the first year. He was going to be right there, but then they had to leave,
yeah,
and so I mean that hurt him. But
yeah.
and Tanner's a good kid.
Oh, he's
Oh,
an
isn't he?
amazing
Yeah.
kid.
And how many species did he end the year with? We're going to talk about that at
Oh,
another.
he just sent me a text. He's in the Bahamas right now. He's already got 15 species since New Year's.
But last
he's
year,
counting again.
I
Last
mean-
year he's like 80 species.
Yeah,
last
he
year.
sent me a list of 50, and then
Then
he just kept
on
going.
going after that.
I mean, he is a great kid. He's a great fisherman.
yeah.
And like Chad, he can be on the water all day long.
Well, he was the only kid in Masters last year, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
we did have one other kid in shore, and he's 10 years old.
Oh.
And he sent him in some pictures. Connor, he's 10 years old. Him and his father are fishing
yeah.
using your bait.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool.
And so it continues, and then the awards are in what month?
July.
July. And great food. And like I said, it was really great to see everybody, and the awards. It was just a great finish of the year, I have to say. I was really impressed.
So explain how the typical every month tournament goes for, the time schedules, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then just go over the rules real quick of the measurement of the fish, all the stuff that people need to know if they
Okay.
join Spotty Bowl.
Yeah, so like I said, we made it real lenient. I wanted anybody that could possibly fish it, try to fish it. So you can fish Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. You can fish from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. or from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. So you have that choice, like I said, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday.
And 2 sessions for each day. So you have 6 sessions for each month tournament to
That's correct.
fish, right? Yeah.
So then pretty much what you're going for is, like I said, the spotted bay bass. So you're trying to catch your 5 longest ones possible. So you need a hog trough, which is a board that has a bump right here. You lay the fish on it, and you just measure it as long as you can. Some rules are no fingers in the gills.
Mouth closed.
Mouth closed. Make sure your code is in the picture somewhere.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. And for each session, morning and evening, there's a different code put out at exactly 6 o'clock for the morning one, and then exactly 1 o'clock for the evening one.
That is correct.
And you need that code written on your hand. Written on your hand is the best way to go. I mean, people do it on a card, but I'm like, write it on your hand. Because your hand has to be there holding the fish anyway. You don't have to worry about losing your card not being in the picture. Just write it on your hand.
the only thing I worry about that is people that get their hands wet a lot. Depending what you're using to write it with, that starts
A
disappearing.
Sharpie. I mean, a Sharpie, I've never had it. Especially, usually you're going to write it on your hand. There, and there.
Yeah.
Write it on your hand about 5 times.
Yeah, Tom's showing us here.
Tom
he
still has it all
he
over
was
his
there
head.
this morning. In the
So, and I have not ever had it wash off. But when you get in the shower, some soap and it comes right off with soap and water. So I mean, that's the perfect way to do it. Just have a Sharpie on your kayak and then like at the end of the day, I just flip my hog trough over, and I use that same Sharpie to write my measurements down to know what my best 5 fish are. So it's totally once you start fishing them, you get a little system of how to do it, and it's super simple. And I like the 3 days with the 6 different time slots with a guy that I'm
That's so
very
great.
busy and travel a lot, and makes it where I can, and I do the SBS tournaments. Like last year, there was a lot where I fished Friday Spotty Bowl and then Saturday SBS, So that makes it where I can both do, that's a lot of times because most tournaments are always on Saturdays. When you got SBS, I can't do that tournament because on the same day as this. We're able to fish Fridays. It makes it where I'm able to do this series, or Sundays. Or last year I came home from Mexico on Saturday night, and we fished Mission Bay on Sunday. And I'm figuring out Mission Bay's going to be hammered by Sunday. I ended up getting second place that day. So I was like, okay, I guess it don't matter. So,
I just want to know how can so many people get Friday off is all I want to know. I swear the majority of the people fish Fridays.
yeah.
So
That's
That's the best day
interesting.
to fish.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Really, so most people fish on Friday.
It's Friday or Saturday morning, but there is a lot on Friday morning that I find very surprising.
Huh.
And I understand, like, you own your own company, you
Yeah.
kind of set your rules.
Yeah, you should be able to fish on Friday.
No, that doesn't work. So,
No, nor did Chad for the first several years of starting the
Yeah,
company.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't until I got people I can trust in the shop where I freed myself on
Right.
Fridays now. So
Right. And the different divisions that you have. What kind of tell our listeners what are those divisions?
we have 4 different divisions. We have shore, so obviously people on the shore.
and I get that question a lot when I posted the shore division. Does it include docks? That's the question I get a lot.
It includes docks you're legally allowed to be on. We don't want you getting on anything that is illegal for you to be on.
That you're trespassing.
Right. So we try to make everything as safe as possible, excuse me, as legal as possible.
Yeah.
We don't want people getting in trouble.
And it makes it unfair for the guys that want to break the law and go trespass. Makes it unfair for the guys that don't want to break the law. you
Right.
know? So that's
Right.
it's a fair thing too.
Yeah. And what we try to do there with the shore division, which is different than the other ones, is since you're on shore, we let you fish both bays if you want. You can choose San Diego only if you want. You can choose Mission if
Oh,
you
how
want.
nice.
I
Or,
didn't
like
know
I said,
that.
or both. It's your choice.
Okay.
That's a great idea.
So, like I said, you can go wherever you want legally.
Okay. So we have the shore division. Okay. Well, next.
Weekend Warriors is we kind of design as maybe like an entry level league. Maybe for some first time doing tournaments, you're not sure where you're going to compete. Where you stand with everybody else. So we kind of give it like a rough idea on the website. I don't know the numbers right offhand. Like if you're going to think you're going to catch this many fish, inches and underwise,
yeah.
this is probably what we recommend for you. Same thing with pro. We figured the pros gonna be a little bit more advanced. Obviously in the masters, we believe are more of the elite spotty bay fishermen.
Yeah.
So
And basically, it goes off of if you go out and don't catch legals hardly on a regular outing, you're weekend warriors. If you catch 1, 2, 3 legals usually on your regular outing, that's the pros. If you're catching limits of legals, you should be in the masters. the way I pretty much see it.
I agree with that. I believe
Yeah.
there's some guys in the pros that should be bumped up, but the way that we made it this year, we just had you pay whatever entry fee you wanted,
Yeah.
and you choose the division you want to be in. Last year, we had a kind of little grading scale. If you were averaging so much, we bumped you up or bumped you down. But then it seemed after we did that, a lot of people just quit fishing. So I didn't want to do that again this year. And,
Well, now you have to, because everyone paid the same amount last year.
yes,
Now you have the different pay amounts, so where you sign up, that's where you can stay, right?
yes.
Okay.
And do you think in the future, just kind of asking myself, there might be a women's division sometime? Because if you think I'm going to compete with Frank and Tom and Chad,
Well, so they're on them.
Well, you'd just be the weekend warriors.
Yeah, I don't know. There's been women that have asked, and there has been women that has competed.
yeah.
But they've been like a one season thing. Then haven't seen them again. And the one girl,
Just asking.
yeah, if there was enough, we'd definitely do it.
Okay.
We'd like to do a boat division if we got enough boats. That's just
Oh yeah, explain that too, about what vessel you can use.
You can use any vessel. We have a float tubes, kayak, boats. Boats, we have a 5 mile an hour roll just to try to equalize the kayak guy since he can't get as far and as fast as a boat can.
Yeah.
So there is the 5 mile an hour roll on the boats. The kayaks probably have the advantage around the docks. The boats still have a slight speed advantage because most kayaks aren't going to do 5 unless you're
Yeah.
really
yeah.
pumping hard.
Yeah,
So-
3 to 5 is your max in a kayak, even with a trolling motor. I got that new motor on my boat, but you still don't want to go more than 4 miles an hour. It gets a little
Yeah.
sketchy, and as I found on my tournament on Friday that I did, it kills your battery too. Because I was going as fast as I can to each spot, doing 4 miles an hour to each spot I was going to, and it only made it right at the last 45 minutes of the tournament. I was without a trolling motor, and I had to paddle all the way back from a long ways away.
Let's take a quick break. We'll come right back and ask a few more questions, Eric.
Sounds
We'll be
good.
right back. Thanks. Hi, this is JoJo with the Hookup Baits podcast, and we're back with Eric, the creator of Spotty Bowl. And we have a few additional questions we wanted to ask you before we wrap up. You are the judge. Kind of walk through the process, because I know that is a lot of detail. How do you do this?
Yeah, what's the behind scenes of
Yeah.
the judge?
So I go to my big computer. So, for instance, like I'll go to your page. I'll look at your fish that you submitted, and you're one of the better ones where you only submit like 5, maybe 6 at the most. So then you write the sizes that you believe they are. Then I go back and I confirm those sizes. Then if we confirm it, then I'll write your 5 fish, total length, blah, blah, blah.
And you just do that on a notepad kind of thing?
notepad.
Yeah,
I
okay.
am not a computer person.
Well, that's why I said notepad. That's what I'll be doing. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Chad, good for this.
Yeah.
Yep.
So then I'll write it on there, your size. Then I hope that like you'd come back and say, yes, I confirm it's the same size. Then I'll go down. Like I said, I got 84 anglers, so I have to do this with each person.
How long does that take?
Anywhere from 3 to 5 hours.
Okay.
So a lot of
That's
people.
pretty fast. I was thinking a couple of days.
Yeah, it's not all at one time. So
Wow.
a lot of people will submit anywhere from that 5 up to 12 because they just do their upgrade. They submit as they go, which is the way that we recommend. You don't have to. But then we go back. But I do ask you to write your size as you submit each picture. So then I'll try to find what you think's the 5 longest. Then I'll go look at those real quick. If there's any type of thing I don't like about it, like the mouth is partially open, the tail might be pinched or something I don't like about it, your finger might be in the gill, I'll say, do you have another picture of that fish? If they have another one to submit, then I'll accept, even though it's after the time, I know it's the same fish, I'll accept that new picture. In case if the mouth is even just a little bit open, that's a 2-inch deduction.
That's a big penalty.
Yeah, I know it's not 2 inches at the mouth though, but I know it's not really
But it
2
just
inches.
makes you make sure
Yeah.
that mouth is closed.
Yep.
Yeah, but
2 inches on a measuring spotties, that's a huge deduction.
Yeah, and the reason it's that because the bottom lip is longer than the upper lip. So
Yeah.
if it's open, is it making it a 1/4 inch longer? Is it making it half?
it would
I
be
don't
about
know.
a 1/4 inch. But
So the penalty is more drastic. That way, people get.
so you don't, it saves you time from questioning every
Right.
person and everything, right? And then the pitching of the tail is the base of the tail. The longer the tail is wider than the base of the tail.
That is correct.
Okay.
So like where the tail comes down, so this is the length. We don't want the fin part back here skinnier than that. So as long as we keep it a little bit wider, that's what we're
You're
looking
good to
for.
go. Yeah.
A good note there is that fin, the upper piece usually has a little pointy thing sticking out.
Mm-hmm.
So take that whole tail and cock it like this, but keep it wider, and that is legal. That's
Yep.
And you'll gain usually like a 1/4 inch out of that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. Especially if they have got a 15 incher, which had a really long fin this tournament, and it's like little gimmies sometimes when they have good fins on them. So
Yeah. And since like I said, I don't use a computer for any of the writing. I write everything down in a notebook. So I have your personal page, strictly just you. Tom, I have your page. Everybody, the 84 people, I have their own personal page.
Wow.
So then I'll write the 5 sizes that I thought were the longest. I confirm it with the person, and once they confirm, then so I get the 84 people, the 4 different divisions. Then from there, I go a bunch of printer paper, and just by hand, I'll go back down like the Masters division. I'll write everybody's score. Then to the right of it, I'll write, okay, this person A had the longest all the way down.
Mm-hmm.
Then I type all the divisions. Then after all that's done, then I type it all to Brian Likes to Fish on Instagram, part of our Fishy Hour show.
yeah.
So then on the Wednesday night, we have our results show on fishyhour.com, which is Roman's Castro's show, part of the Mad Max Club. And then so whenever we have the event this weekend, that Wednesday following is when we have the results show. So nobody knows how they did until that Wednesday show. So it's a surprise.
Sometimes it's nerve-wracking too.
Yeah.
You want to know.
Oh, believe me, I hear it, Eric. I won't know till Wednesday. Won't know till Wednesday. So
Yeah, especially when it gets later in the season, where you're doing, seeing if you qualify for playoffs and
but
stuff.
that's super cool that you make them wait.
Yeah.
When you fish Friday and you gotta wait till Wednesday, it's just like. Ugh.
Well, that way we get more viewers on our channel. So
Yeah.
that's the main goal.
Absolutely. And if you wouldn't mind, can you review the cost again of what the cost is per division, and is that a one-time cost or is that every tournament?
It is a one-time cost. So
Okay.
if you enter the shore division or the Weekend Warriors, it is $60. That is for the whole season, all 7 sessions that you get to fish.
It's a great price.
Plus playoffs.
Yeah, then like I said, then the pro, and this is for the San Diego area because LA is a little different. So shore and Weekend Warriors is 60, pro is 80, and Masters is 100, and that is for the whole season. It's not each week, each month you got to pay. It's for the whole season.
Okay.
Yeah. Plus
So-
playoffs, and plus side pots.
That is
It
correct.
includes everything.
That is it.
You only pay once, no matter what.
Right. You don't add anything else.
That's a great deal.
Yeah,
That's a great
fantastic. And then what is just because this will be airing before the Orange County LA. So what is the LA Orange County divisions?
They have the chance to do shore. Nobody has signed up for it yet. One person has showed interest. That person has joined. I believe it was the Weekend Warriors. But from there, so you got the shore, the Weekend Warriors, and the Masters. And so this year we weren't offering
same cost.
same cost. We weren't offering pro this year because we just wanted more people to come
Yeah.
in, and figure between the 60 and 100, we're just hoping more of those people join in the Masters. Just because
Yeah.
figure if they're a Weekend Warrior, they're probably a little bit better than that.
Yeah.
So.
So, okay. That sounds good enough. I
And
know I'm
then-
doing both series.
Yes. Help the listeners understand a little bit about your server. I know that's been something new, but Chad's done nothing but compliment it. Help us understand what that does or how to work that.
We use a app called Discord. My belief is it's for game. It came out from gamers, people that game all the time. It's a way for them to communicate and they can chat. So we use this app. It's free of charge. And in there you can submit your pictures. We have a bunch of different categories. You can sit there and talk to people. And it's easy. So you just take your phone, you submit your picture straight to the Discord, and it's a real simple process.
Yeah, I know when I joined last year, they're like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna sign you up on the Discord stuff," and it was kind of like, "Oh, another app," you know. But then when they set it all up and I started going through it, I'm like, "Oh my god, this is awesome! This is organized. It's perfect. You got questions, so you got it right there. You have a lot of the answers are actually right there of the questions. I mean, and so I was like, you know, so I know people might be turned off by like, oh, you have to have this app and everything else. It actually makes it super simple. It makes it organized and fair and easy. So yeah, don't be turned off by using the Discord app.
Yeah, and then on the app too is like I says, like right now in San Diego we have 84 anglers. I and the committee can see every angler, so I see what your fish are. You cannot see anybody else's fish, so like you don't know what Tom's doing, you don't know what Brian's doing.
Yep.
We didn't know what Tom was doing this morning till
Kept it a secret. Actually, he spilled the beans on him.
Oops.
Tom told me, he goes, "Don't tell Chad I'm going to fish Sunday." I'm like, okay.
You didn't tell me that, Tom. So
it's funny though.
And we've heard nothing but great compliments from the Hookah Baits team about your customer service.
Oh my God.
And do you want to talk a bit about that?
He is so good at responding. If you have a question, hey Judge, how do I do this? Like usually you put out a message, you expect to be within the next day or so to be. He'll message you back in within 10 minutes every time. It's pretty amazing. Your customer service is just awesome. So
yeah,
I love people that respond quick and well, and it's always like, oh, sorry to bother you, and it's always, oh, no problem, absolutely, you know, it's just so I commend you on that. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I try to. If you heard, you know, the notifications every time a fish gets submitted. It goes ding, ding, ding. So I don't know if those are people asking questions, or I don't know if those are fish minutes. So like, I'm trying to fish yesterday. My phone's going ding, ding. So I wait a few minutes. I go and look. Okay, they're all pictures. So
and that's the only thing I can't turn off notifications of my Discord, and it makes the same sound that if I get a text message.
Oh.
Yeah, so it goes off in the middle of the night, and JoJo's like, "Who's texting?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's Discord." So, other than that, everything's awesome.
Yeah.
So,
I'm sure there's a way. I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, I looked. I turned off notifications, but it still makes noise. But I just turn my sound off, and I'm good. So.
And as you look forward, where do you see Spotty Bowl going from here? What is your goal, or what would you like to have it? Where you know, gosh, I mean, we've continued to increase anglers. What's your vision of this?
I don't know if it's really too much more than it is now in San Diego. Mm-hmm. I like to keep it kind of like where it is. I don't know if we'll really raise the prices anymore from this point on. Just have it where the only thing I would like to see is just the people that are currently, I think, in the wrong divisions next year bump up to the division you think you really should be in. Mm-hmm. Besides that, I think it's just something that I think to get people out there and fish. That's really the main goal. I was hoping Cash would join. I don't know if he is or isn't, but it's just like this Connor, this father-son thing. Connor, he's 10 years old. The father, I'm not sure how old he is, but just they're getting out there doing it together.
Yeah.
And it just,
or Tanner. I mean, just get this young youth out.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we did have a youth division the first year, but by the end of the season, it was all the kids had stuff they had to do, like their ball games and other stuff, and it just dwindled.
Yeah.
I was asked to bring it back. Then I asked people, and just doesn't seem like the kids are fishing right now.
Yeah,
the ones
it's hard to have kids to be that committed. You know, they'll go fishing, but to be committed to a tournament series, it takes a certain kid to be able to, want to do that kind of thing.
Well, it's also parents. I mean, they've got to
parents,
take the kid, and that's a real commitment on their part as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of dads, that's their thing, that they want to compete, and then they're not going to be able to compete as well if they're taking care of their kid actually during the tournaments too. So that's another thing.
Yeah, and one thing that we do have, which you are allowed to fish from a boat, and two people could be on the same boat. We just ask you for your honesty that you keep your fish separate.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
There's a father-son. I don't know if it's the LA division or the San Diego, but it's that way. He's 18. The father's older, obviously.
Yeah.
And like I said, I like to see people get together.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, and does both people in the boat have to be in the series?
No.
No? Okay. So someone could just be fun fishing, but
Right.
someone could be doing, yeah, that would, make sure you're honest. I mean,
Yeah.
don't be that guy taking fish from both people fishing.
Yeah. And you can tell by their scores. It's just the ones that are, especially in the Masters, they're by yourself. You don't have other people on your boat.
Yeah. I know the Masters division is pretty hardcore.
Yeah, we got quite a few
Competition.
SPS guys this year, so I don't know all their names.
Uh-huh.
I know we have another gentleman from Ramona that was in the rookie division. Him and I guess I know he joined. I think his partner joined now too. So I don't know their names, but they're the ones that won whatever raffle tickets and the boat motors.
Oh, okay.
So they joined.
yeah.
I believe there's a couple of LA SBS guys that have joined that one up there.
Very cool.
So
yeah. I mean,
That's
because
great.
I know the SBS is only 5 tournaments and a championship. So I mean, for me, it's not a long enough season for me. I like competing, and so having the 7 tournaments, the Spotty Bowl tournaments, plus the playoffs and the championship, I like that long season. It's and I look forward. Like I couldn't sleep last week because I was so excited about about the tournaments this weekend. Because it's been a couple months since I've done a tournament, and it just and I've been pre-fishing. I found some new areas, and when you're pre-fishing, you only slightly fish an area. You're like, okay, there's some nice fish here, then you move on. Now tournament day comes, I'm like, okay, now I get to hammer that spot, and I get to hammer that spot, and I get to, so that's, I look forward to that. Okay, and what can I do now? I get to really fish these spots I found, so it's the whole thing for me that just get me jacked up in my head. I just love it.
Yes. Anything else you'd like to add, Eric, regarding the tournament, or how do people contact you? Where do they go if they still want to sign up?
Yeah, if you want to sign up, first of all, we have a website, spottybowl.com, which is, first of all, it's baywars.com, which is Roman Castro's webpage for all of his tournaments, anything he does. We have Spotty Bowl, which I created, part of his tournaments. So they're the same, but they're different.
Okay.
I'd say go to spottybowl.com, look up 2023. There's the LA division, the San Diego division. Just read all the rules. Make sure you read the rules and what you need to submit when you submit the picture. We kind of have the rules, and we have how to submit the picture, what needs to be done. Really read all that stuff real good. I'd recommend. Then just join up.
Yeah, it's super easy, and you can join anytime.
You can join anytime. If you miss the first 2 sessions, you're most likely not going to make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. But there's all the side pots that you can fish for. There's
and you get a plaque for each tournament of the series anyway, too.
Right.
Even if you don't make the playoffs.
That is
if you
correct.
win one of the tournaments of that month, you end up with winning a plaque for that month.
That is correct.
And recognitions and stuff. So
yeah, and that's all part of the money that you guys put in. All that money pretty much gets turned around, put back out to you guys. We're not making any money on this at all. For you guys, like yours is a $100 entry fee. Mm-hmm. We keep 15 of it, and that 15 goes to the plaques, to whatever awards and everything else. We're not keeping any of it.
Totally fair.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. And it's super easy to sign up, to submit your fishing, your fish, and the whole process. I mean, so I've been doing spotty bay fishing tournaments for many years, and I've done a lot of people's different tournaments and stuff. And this one by far is the most fair, most put together, most thought out.
Most challenging.
Challenging. Yeah.
You are excited.
Yeah. And I love that it's the different levels too. Sometimes the guys in Masters, for the guys that are a lot of the pro guys are the weekend warriors. It's kind of like, it's not fair to them. To fish a guy that just fishes the bay is hardcore and a lot and everything to a guy that just fishes every once in a while.
Right.
So I love the different levels, so everyone's on the level playing field and stuff. And the guys in the Masters are in Masters, and that's like real competition. You got to think so. I love that part of it too. So
I
was thinking today, and I don't know if there's any way to do it, but in bowling, especially like house bowling, not like scratch leads, there's handicap. Mm-hmm. So, like, you got a guy that has a 120 average, a guy has a 200 average. The 120 gets some type of handicap to make it equal.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to think, is there a way to do that in fishing?
That'd be a whole lot more work on your side.
Yeah. So, as of right now, I don't see how to do that. But that's the next thing.
That'd be cool.
How do you make it fair for everyone, so they all join together? But
what about a tournament like the Major League Fishing, where every fish counts? Have you done that, where each fish... You could do. They do it by weight, by but measurement, but you would have to have a judge on each boat. That'd be a great way to do like
Yeah, we're dying to do something like that.
yeah, like maybe that each winner of each division or something like that, do with some kind of fish off like that. That would be really cool. Where it's head to head, but every fish counts no matter what size it is. So you have to catch a lot plus big ones.
Okay.
Like Major League Fishing. That would be really super cool. So
one thing that we're thinking of the future is once the finales are done, so we have our champions in here and our champions in LA, is have them go head to head.
that'd be awesome.
So
That would be very cool.
Yeah.
yeah, so we just want to be like the Padres and beat LA.
Well, I have to say the attention to detail, Eric, the customer service, the dedication of creating this and keeping this going, and you have to, I assume, have the same qualities in your business. So please tell the listeners again the name of your business, how do they get a hold of you, because I am sure that this is just a copy of how you run your business, which is pretty amazing and certainly something to be admired.
Thank you. Yeah, so just like I said, it's Ramona Automotive. It's just an automotive shop in Ramona. Our phone number is 760-789-2621. Or our email is ramonaautomotive@aol.com. Yes, that's how old I am. But yeah, like I said, I'm a God-fearing man, and I make all my decisions that way. So, like I says, just an example, the one guy wanted to prepay for everything he just did this last week. We didn't need some of the parts, so when he got there, I gave him the cash back for the parts we didn't need. He had no idea what we used or didn't use, and he just couldn't believe that we were giving him money back. So,
right. Well, because that's almost unheard of nowadays. I mean, so it's very, awesome that there's still guys like you around.
Which is really important.
Yes, exactly. And thank you for letting us sponsor this year.
Yeah, I got to thank you. I mean, your sponsorship and you spreading the word has brought more people into it, and other sponsors also. I'm not going to mention their names, but
yeah, I mean, the sponsorship's a big part of it. And the Hookup Baits sponsor this year is you have to win in each division: Shore, Weekend Warriors, Pro, and Masters. First, you got to win that tournament for that month, and then if you have Hookup Baits in 2 of your submission videos or pictures, you win the Hookup Baits package for that month too. $50 worth of Hookup Baits card. So
we're making a lot of hookup baits for this.
Well, people have to win first.
That's right. That's
the hard part. That is the hard part.
Yeah, and it is winning the
But they have
tournament.
to have a picture, don't they, of the bait?
Yeah.
Just only in 2. You're going to submit 5 fish.
Okay.
The hookup bait only needs to be in pictures of 2 of the fish.
We
prefer it to be in each picture. You can't go wrong then, but it just a minimum of 2 of the fish have to have a hookup baits in the picture.
Okay.
So,
it's going to be bad when Chad doesn't win his own category.
All right. He's not going to sleep tonight, Eric. Thanks a lot. Or actually, he may be going on the water right after this. Well, we sure want to thank you very much for coming down to our podcast, telling us more about the Spotty Bowl, telling us more about your business. And we'd love to have you back as the Spotty Bowl continues, and certainly
maybe at the end.
At the end, it would be great to kind of recap how this year went. And what to look forward to 2024.
Yeah, and just to let you know, we're recording this on the weekend of the first tournament weekend of the San Diego series.
Yes.
And we're going to try to get it out as quick as we can. It'll be out before next month's.
Yes.
I don't know if we'll be out before Orange County LA starts in next week or a week and a half. So
2 weeks, yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
We probably can get out before then. So.
Yes.
Yeah. So just when this was being made.
Right. Well, thank you again, and thanks for joining us, and look forward to future podcasts with Hookup Baits. Thank you.
Thank you.